While we were talking, Ma, Mosima, and Didi entered with some food for him, a glass of milk, some fruit cut into pieces, and some sweets. He took the milk and a few pieces of the fruit. The rest he asked them to leave there. While they were talking, some visitors began coming. He had been coming to that house across the street for two number of years. We would see many cars and persons coming and going, but we did not know why. There had been no curiosity. I had not heard his name. Now some person started coming to our house to see him. He was actually a well-known saint in the area. A certain gentleman came whom I knew very well. When he entered the room, he looked around and seeing some other persons there, he tried to go out, but before he could do so, Babaji asked him, "You take bribes." The man began trembling. Babaji said, "Tell me, you take bribes?" He said, "Baba, in this service everybody takes something." He was trembling in such a way that I thought he was going to fall down. So I caught hold of him and made him sit. He was an excise inspector who had taken bribes and been suspended from his job. He had come to Babaji thinking that he might do something to get his job back. And and the funny thing was that the excise commissioner Kesar Singh, the head of department, was sitting there, and the man next in command to him, Sinha, was also there. I thought, what a strange thing this was. Here was a confession made before the biggest bosses. The man was given some prasad from the plate and asked to go away. After he had gone, Babaji talked with Kesar Singh. Soon afterward, the man was reinstated in his job. While talking with the people in the room, Maharaji suddenly got up and told Kehar Singh, "Chalo." We did not understand anything at all, where he was going, when he would come back, whether he would come back or not. None of those who were with him could help us in this matter. All they said was that nothing could be known about him. We came out of the house. Kehar Singh's car was at the door. While standing there, we saw the hunter friend coming in a rickshaw. He was only a short distance away when Babaji got into the car. Mausima requested that Babaji not leave yet, but with no effect. The friend missed seeing him by a few minutes and said he would try again in the evening. A short while after this friend had gone, Babaji returned and stayed for the whole day. In the evening, when our friend came again, he learned that Babaji had just gone out. He tried 4 days at different times but always missed Baba. He tried several times afterwards but to no avail. His wife and children used to come and have Babaji's darshan, but it was not to be for him. He gave up all hope of seeing Babaji. Years later, Mausima said, "Baba, I know my son has done something very unworthy, but he is very unhappy. Be gracious to him and give him darshan." "All right, Mausima, send for your son." He came that evening. And Babaji gave him darshan. This was 6 years after he made the remark about feeding meat to a sadhu and was rebuked by Ma. During that first day, several persons came and Babaji talked to them. I was only a spectator with nothing in particular to do, but I was curious. How did he know things? In the afternoons, three friends came. Two were doctors and one was an office employee. Babaji was lying on his cot, and when he saw these people coming in, he sat up and welcomed the first one, a doctor, and said, "You come in, come in. He is a saint." The other doctor was told by Baba, "Go, why have you come to me? Go and earn your money." Doctor went away annoyed and never came to Babaji again. Babaji took no notice of the third person. His second visit was after 3 months and almost the same routine was followed. After his arrival, visitors would begin coming. Often he would go out to his devotees' houses, and sometimes I was asked to accompany him. He would sit for a short while, partake a little of prasad offered to him, and distribute the rest. His talks were mostly about the household problems of the devotees, and he would give suitable advice. There was no talk of God or spiritual matters unless somebody would ask for that. People loved him, served him in their humble way, and treated him like one of their own. His third visit to the house was in December. His devotees began coming to meet him. Seldom would he allow people to sit for long. He heard them, gave his advice, and sent them off. This rule did not apply for some of his devotees who would be allowed to stay with him as long as they wanted. Kehar Singh was one of these, an old and trusted devotee, the first one I was to meet. Babaji brought us closer, and it was from him that I had my first lessons about love and devotion to Babaji. I met many friends and teachers afterwards, but Kehar Singh is unique among those who brought me nearer to Baba. It was during this visit that Baba talked about our having a home of our home of our own. The house we were living in was neither convenient nor big enough to meet our needs. It belonged to my uncle, and we had been living there for more than a decade. But of late we had begun feeling its inadequacy, especially when Babaji came. He said, "You will have to shift from this house soon. Where will you go? Have you thought about that? Your uncle will need the house and will ask you soon to vacate it." We knew of no talk about being asked to leave. I said, "How can we build a house when we do not even have land?" "You will get the land." It was difficult to believe him. It was a great surprise for all of us when the land was actually purchased in a couple of months, after we had given up all hope of getting it in an auction bid. A couple of months after the land was purchased, Babaji came. "Have you purchased the land?" "Yes, Baba." "Now you have the land, so build the house." I kept quiet. Not only was there no money, but even if the money had fallen from the sky, I didn't know anything about getting mortar or brick or stone. After 3 or 4 months he came again. "Have you built the house?" "No, Baba." He called out, "Kamla, you build the house." Again after 3 or 4 months, "Have you built your house?" "Don't do anything, it will be done automatically." I could not believe this. While Babaji was talking all the time about building the house, we did not realize how important it was. In spite of all the hardships that we suffered in the house, we were not making any effort or even thinking seriously about building. But soon a relation of my uncle, an old lady of 80, came to stay with us. It was difficult to accommodate her not only because of the shortage of space, but due to her temperament. She was always complaining and grumbling. When Babaji came, she felt he was getting all the attention and care. She was being neglected. One day, when she was quarreling, Babaji surprised us by coming. It had not even been a month since he had last come, and his previous visits had gaps of 2 or 3 months between them. It was a busy day, full of visitors. The next morning he went out alone and sat by the roadside a few houses away. When I went to him, he sent me back, asking me to stay in the house. He remained alone. Visitors were directed to the place where he was sitting. As the old lady saw all kinds of people coming to the house, she began abusing us and Babaji also. There was such unpleasantness before she stopped.